So wait, could I ask before we start? Are you guys from Pennsylvania because of the Steelers?
No,
No.
we're all from
No.
Indiana.
Yeah.
It.
Super small.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
shut
we're a lame state.
Dude,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DAWG podcast. Today we have a special guest, Calvin. Calvin, how are you?
Hi. I'm tired, man. It's the weekend. I was gonna sleep in, but it's okay. I'm happy to be here.
Glad to hear it.
we're happy to have you. Yeah.
Uh,
So, if you guys have watched the previous podcast episodes, our best guest, John Cino, has been on here a couple of times, and he actually recommended Calvin to us because, well, John, as we know, is a musical artist and a pretty good one at that. His new song just came out called Discreet, which was heard here first on the podcast about 2 months ago. But
sweet.
yeah, it really, really nice. So we have Calvin, and
My name is Calvin. I run the TikTok, RunTheDisc. It's basically I just talk about a bunch of different music things. I try and talk about more niche topics that I don't see a lot of people cover, usually like not modern stuff, unless it's something that's not really getting talked about. Like I did a video on Janet Jackson. I'm working on a video on Depeche Mode right now. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, my Wyatt James video blew up recently. I don't know if you guys saw that one either. But I just talk about anything really that I listen to in music that interests me, or I think that other people should know about. And yeah, I kind of nerd out about it. That's it.
Jacob and Truman, why don't you give like a little introduction to yourself before we go any further?
Okay. Do you want to go first, Truman, or you want me to?
I mean, you're already talking, so.
Yeah, choose
Well,
Jacob.
Okay. Okay, so I'm Jacob. I'm a freshman at Purdue. Something about me. I like working out.
Yeah, so obviously my name's Truman. I go to Ivy Tech. I'm a first year as well. I study business administration right now. It's not my favorite thing, so I might change later, but who knows? I'm looking to transfer to Purdue next year, and as Caedyn said, I also take a large interest into music. In high school, I was part of our choir. I sang bass, and I also took part in 7 years of musical theater. If Caedyn has a picture, I'll send him one of me as King Julian in my most latest musical.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
I'm Caedyn. I'm also a first year at IU. IU and Purdue have a big rivalry, so it's pretty unique to see all of my friends go to Purdue instead. But it's whatever. I do finance, but I'm not like a finance doucher. I'm not into all that. And then I want to get minors, but I might get a co-major in sustainable business for nonprofits and then a minor in film production, because I feel like media is a very easy way to market like your ideas. And so if I do anything with like social impact, just understanding how to film better would be, I don't know, essential, I think. But yeah, we started this podcast, like I said earlier, for college students, but also just to have fun. I mean, every guy group just goes, "Oh my God, we need to start a podcast. We're so interesting." We are all college students, and the primary purpose of this podcast to begin with was just to like have a podcast specifically for college students relate more, because a lot of these podcasts are like 35-year-olds talking about like doing coke and stuff, and we can't really talk about that if we do it. So we'd like to know more about like your college experience. What are you doing? Where do you go? Stuff like that.
Yeah. So I go to University of New Mexico, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm studying emergency medical services, or more specifically, I'm training to be a paramedic.
That's actually really sick.
Yeah.
Not to already go off, but Albuquerque? What?
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna bash on you if you haven't, but have you watched Breaking Bad before?
Yes, I've watched Breaking Bad
good. Okay, because I was like, if you're going there, I mean, you have to watch the show.
I have friends that have lived here their entire lives and they've never seen Breaking Bad.
Oh.
And like, okay, I haven't seen Better Call Saul yet. I have not finished Better Call Saul yet. I just want to make that clear. But I've seen Breaking Bad, so I'm valid, at least a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you met the requirements. I would say Better Call Saul is definitely a better show, but many people did not agree with me.
I would probably agree so far, but like I said, I'm not done yet. So
yeah. No. Okay, so you're doing like a paramedic thing. That's awesome. The most I know for medical is what? How to put a tourniquet on? I don't even know
Band-Aid.
CPR.
It's not hard. I mean,
not that hard.
CPR, it's pretty easy. Like they usually do free trainings and stuff like that. I love doing them.
That's how I got my tourniquet certification. So you're a first year student?
Yeah, I'm a freshman.
What are some extracurriculars you do?
I'm a part of my RHA, like for my school, and I'm a part of like the CA, so like for my building and everything. It's just kind of cool because I get to help plan events, and I think that's kind of cool to just kind of like have students come and do different things that I'm interested in. I think that they're interested in.
Yeah, can you explain more what a CA is? Because I actually went through an RA class the last 8 weeks, and so I'm applying to be an RA for next year, but I've never heard of what a CA is.
So RHA, that's for the whole campus, right? It's for all of the dorm buildings. They bring representatives together and they vote on stuff to do for the whole school. That's about the residents. But a CA, that's like in the building. So the building that I live in has its own separate events that it does just for the people in the building. And that's basically what the CA is. We meet every month. We talk about like what's wrong with the building, what's fucked up with the building. And then like Valentine's Day, we had like a giant Valentine's Day event with like photo shoots and like a bunch of ice cream and chocolates and everything like that. It's just fun little mini events.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty cute. So I guess we should jump into the business of it. So why did you think it was a good idea to start making informative music videos on TikTok?
So it didn't start out as first. I mean, I think everyone after a little bit got off the TikTok hate train, like, hate TikTok, Instagram's better. And like everyone just kind of like realized, oh, hey, that's not like a fun, cool thing to hate on anymore. And I joined TikTok and I just started making videos as one does, just like funny ha-has, try and go viral.
You son of a bitch, you piece of shit, you fucking goddamn fucker. Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Get that through your goddamn fucking head.
I am stuffed.
I'm not, but I bet we could fix that if you'd let me have that snake in your pants for dessert.
Sorry, I can't be your man. I'm sorry, she a fucking fan. I get bread, all these fucking bands. I was 7 years old, on God, I knew I was the man. Shit dropped out of school, I ain't never had no fucking plan. No! 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 No!
Try and go viral. And then I started making music content right when Kendrick announced Mr. Morale was coming out, like when The Heart Part 5 dropped. And I think I started making music videos 5 days before that came out. And for each of those 5 days, I reviewed a different Kendrick album until Mr. Morale came out. And that really blew up my channel because I was talking about Kendrick stuff. This is my first time listening to a lot of his stuff. And a lot of people were like coming on and joining. And then it just blew up from there.
That's actually a really smart way to do it too.
Yeah, it was nothing like that was ever going to happen again. So I was like, I'll just take advantage of it, make an audience from it. With everyone's talking about Kendrick, who's not going to want to follow me when I start reviewing it, and then just go off from there.
Truman is probably the music buff here. He has his own like record albums and stuff like that too. But I more so do with movies. So I've been looking at shows like Barry, which is on HBO Max, their final season coming out soon, and Succession, which is also on HBO Max, their final season's coming out. So I've been planning to release videos right before their final season to like get on that hype train. And so I understand that like that marketing for it. It's a really good idea. Now, why specifically on TikTok? Because I've seen a lot of your TikToks and it does work and the platform's nice, but some of your TikToks are because they're informative, they can get up there in minutes, which I know can be a detriment to TikTok sometimes. Is there any plans for doing YouTube or restructuring content in a way that's more like audience friendly?
So maybe. I mean, the reason I picked TikTok is statistically it has the most people on it. And I'm kind of a math guy, so I track my videos and how well they do based on like statistics. But out of every platform I've like seen people experiment with, TikTok always gets the most views and the most likes. Even though the followers may not be the strongest, the videos blow up the most, if you get what I mean. Whereas if I were to do videos on Instagram or YouTube, I'd have a more dedicated fan base, but it would be a lot harder to build it up, if that makes sense.
We see something special in your videos. I mean, to see someone to see someone this like confident in their ability while also like loving what they do, and to see how passionate you are about it is something that you don't see with a lot of creators, especially creators that are smaller. I mean, not to crap, but like 1,000 followers, 1,500 is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
It's hard. It's a struggle. Like some of your videos will bomb and they'll bomb really bad. And you'll be like, I should stop. And then, it's a struggle, you know? Like if you want to keep going or anything like that, because you see all these people with like 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, stuff like that, making really, pardon my French, but shit videos. And you're just like, how do they get away with it? How do they do it? You know? But smaller creators, you just got to keep the grind up. You know, I didn't get my follower base in one day. And sometimes you'll have a big hit and then you'll get a bunch of people. And then you just keep having those hits every now and then and keep going. And maybe you'll get somewhere good, you know?
Yeah, no, that's smart. I think what you said earlier about TikTok and the viralness of it is also nice, because you can just be getting low numbers for a couple weeks, and then all you have to think about is just like one more video, because that one more video can actually like spin your career upwards. So I think that's also really cool. Speaking of TikTok, might be going away. How do we feel about that? What's that like?
I'll just move to Instagram. I mean, if it does go away, that sucks. I mean, I have opinions on it all, you know. I think the reason why it's going away is very stupid and very contradictory, but if it does, it does, you know. You just move on, life goes on. Obla di obla da.
I can ask a question.
Oh yeah, the music guy. Okay, now I'm interested. No.
Oh wow. But I wanted to ask a question. So specifically for me, in middle school, I was kind of confined to, I need to listen to rap to be cool, you know. So I strictly listened to people like Lil Uzi Vert and Kanye and just the basic rap artists. Into high school, I was introduced to Mac Miller, which led me to more artists like Frank Ocean and, you know, kind of more R&B artists, alternative artists. I started listening to the Backstreet Lovers too. So I don't know about Caedyn or Jacob, but I was wondering if you also kind of experienced this kind of experimental shift in your music tastes.
Yeah. For a while, I was very against rap. Not because of who was making it or anything like that, just because I grew up on rock and rap was so unfamiliar to me. Like my dad made me insufferable, raised me on Radiohead. Weezer, some other like groups like that, a lot of like 90s stuff. And I was always afraid of rap, especially in high school. And then my senior year, I said, you know what? I need to start checking out new things. Music is something I'm very passionate about, and I got to start branching out. And one of the first artists I listened to was actually Mac Miller. And damn, Circles hits so hard every single time I listen to it. One of my
Great
favorite
album.
albums. It's one of my 10 out of 10s.
Great.
But yeah.
And so also piggybacking off of that, personally, I also obviously went through the same shift, and I wasn't really familiar with the rock scene. I've listened to Backstreet Lovers, can kind of be considered rock, which was honestly a genre that probably surprised me the most into me coming in thinking, oh, I'm just going to hate this, into actually them becoming, I think, my third most listened artist. So in that experience, what genre do you think has kind of taken you back? Like, oh, damn, I've been missing out on this for quite a while. Like, what's been the most surprising for you?
Some people shit on this genre all the time, but ambient music, like Aphex Twin, the C418, like a lot of ambient music actually is a lot deeper than just like homework music in the background. And I guess you could throw electronic into it too, because a lot of ambient music is electronic, but like the possibilities are endless. And every day I continue to get more surprised by country, by blues, jazz, like all sorts of different genres. Like, oh, tomorrow I might have a new one, but as of right now, ambient music, super slept on.
Yeah, great pick. I love instrumentals and stuff in music, especially.
And I think it's a good segue from rap too, because sometimes people post their instrumentals, and just listening to them and then switching into ambient music, it's very much like hand in hand.
Yeah, I respect it. And I think probably one of my final questions, I might have more later on, but so seeing Lil Yachty and his newest album release, obviously he's branching out, trying new things. With his kind of indie pop alternative album, which was honestly a shocking release. Very good. What artist personally do you think would have the most success branching out like that?
Oh, that's hard. I've been really digging Slow Thigh recently. Oh, sorry. I've been noticing he's been changing up his style a lot sound wise. Like with his most recent album, he went for a more industrial feel, like industrial hip hop. I mean, Mac Miller, he did a great job when he switched it up. Unfortunate we didn't get to hear more from that, but rest in peace, the GOAT. Little Yachty, yeah, that album's amazing. Like, oh my god.
Great album.
Oh god, an artist I would like to have switch up their sound. Give me just a second. I'm gonna look on my Spotify. I always love seeing Tyler the Creator and what he has going on, but I feel like switching it up completely, because I don't know if you follow him that deeply or not, but he's been like composing like jazz stuff for, I think it was Virgil's funeral. Like he composed like a jazz piece for that, or like something like that. I'd just love to see that from him.
Yeah, I think Tyler's definitely an amazing musical mind. Earthquake is obviously one of his more popular songs, but for a reason. Igor was an amazing album.
Yeah.
But yeah. Actually, I have one more question, I guess. Personally, for me, I've been to a couple concerts now. I went to a Lumineers concert, a Rex Orange County concert, and I'd like to go to more. But from those, I think I didn't really get any memorabilia that really hit home for me. But recently, the Backstreet Lovers released a vinyl and exclusive pressing. Only 2,000 were made, and I was able to get my hands on one for a retail price.
Wow, just brag about it. We get it.
I was pretty excited. But I was wondering
money.
But I was wondering if you really had some piece of musical memorabilia that you really hold close to your heart.
Here, let me get them real quick.
Sounds good.
So I have two. I don't know if you can hear me very well. Let's see the one. I think it's in this bag. Okay, so I got two pieces. So I got into grunge a lot my freshman year, this year, last semester especially, and I found out Alice in Chains were coming down to do a concert, and I got me and my dad a guitar pick that Jerry Cantrell was playing during
That's
some of
sick.
the songs. I made sure I wrote down the songs that he played it with, like Nutshell, Wood, Rooster, and everything. And I gave my dad one, and I have one. I think I might make into a necklace or something. My next one I have, it's a broken drumstick. So I went and saw Machine Girl, if you've ever listened to them before. Very crazy music, but yeah, it was a wild concert. I think there's like blood on the drumstick because like they beat it so hard. But after the show, I was like, hey man, can I get a drumstick or something? And he snapped it in half, gave it to some other guy, and gave me a piece. And there's like indents in it. He was like breaking the drumstick from how hard he was hitting it. Like it could have just exploded in his hand. And yeah, I'm gonna try and get one on Wednesday when I go see Waves Blood.
I think those are probably a little bit more memorable than me pulling out my debit card, ordering a vinyl, but you know.
Have you ever like gone into listening to a song or album with a certain expectation and then like either being like super disappointed with how it turned out or the opposite?
Yeah, plenty of times. I'll get some flack for this one. Melodic Blue. Do you guys like that album or no? By Baby Keem?
Yeah, I think it's a good album for Baby Keem. I think it obviously went mainstream, and
yeah,
the influence of kind of Kendrick Lamar is pretty evident, but I think overall it was just all right.
I did not like that album. So I only heard to Trademark USA. I mean, I've heard Family Ties. Like, who hasn't heard Family Ties? But those are the two songs. And I knew he had a whole album, and some people really rave about it. And I listened to it, and I was just so disappointed. There was like so much auto-tune, and like it, like compared to the two songs I heard, it really killed my expectations, and it made me wish I hadn't heard it before, if you know what I mean. Like, just so I could preserve all that like hype around it that I had. But yeah, it happens all the time. It's really disappointing, but sometimes that's just how it is, you know?
I mean, if that's one that you were disappointed with, you have one that you were like really excited about, and then like it exceeded your expectations.
I think the go-to is the Little Yachty album, like easily. Oh, probably Igor too. That was my introduction to Tyler the Creator. And I listened to that, and it was right after he got nominated for the Grammy for it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I've heard this name before. I haven't heard anything he's done before. Like, let me listen to it. And that album just, it hits so hard when you experience a certain thing, like a really bad breakup or something like that. Like, it sinks its way into your heart, and then it just stays there, and it's so good.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, you've been talking a lot about Tyler the Creator. Obviously Tyler the Creator, an amazing artist. Some of his like past stuff could have been seen as controversial. Obviously using a couple of slurs towards gay people in his songs. But we've obviously seen the redemption of Tyler the Creator. I don't know how you feel about the situation of Kanye, but do you feel like there's any redemption at this point for him?
Okay, did you guys see the post he made today? Okay, so today, for the people that are watching, today is, what is it, March 25th. Last night, he posted, "I'm no longer anti-Semitic. Jonah Hill saved me." Like something like that. And I was laughing my ass off all morning at that, because he just thinks, oh yeah, Jonah Hill, this will save what's left of my career. I don't think there's a redemption for Kanye. Like with Tyler, he doesn't get away with it, but it's definitely something you have to acknowledge and understand. Because I think he's confirmed he's gay or bisexual now. And I know with some people before, in order to just kind of mask those feelings and everything, they were very homophobic. So you have to understand that, yes, they did that, but they're not like that anymore. But with Kanye, it's like to a whole margin of people. Well, same with Tyler, but like
it's a whole different ballpark.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, no, I don't see Kanye coming back. I see it's just going to be a sour taste in everyone's mouth for every time they listen to Graduation or something like that.
Do you like musicals? It was really weird because the first time I watched it, I thought it was great and I hated musicals. And then I just rewatched it, and upon a rewatch, I didn't think there was like that much music in it. I guess I was taken away more so by like the love story, but 75% of that movie is just pure musical numbers.
Yeah.
So are you in love with musicals?
It depends. I feel like that term is very much swung towards like stuff like Mamma Mia and Chicago, which is very over the top and appealing to a different group of people. But that movie, it's like it's musical, not a musical, if you get what I mean. Like there's music elements flowing throughout, the piano scene in the bar, the dancing, the choreography. It's not like cheesy, like a standard musical that people would consider, but it has elements of musicals. Does that make sense? That might be a little complicated of an answer.
No. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It kind of modernized some of those elements too, because it brings a very grounded story, and then it elevates it by having these very like very cinematic I don't know, scenes like City of Stars is nice, and then when they're tap dancing with the background of like the sun setting, that's really nice too. Where do I guess just like I'm in love with Ryan Gosling. Absolutely love the guy. Did you know that he actually had a band at one point and came out with an album?
Really?
Yeah, it's like horror-esque, which is really weird. But I never knew that Ryan Gosling could sing, let alone like pretty well, because a lot of these Disney remakes, you have people like who's the girl from Harry Potter?
Which one?
Hermione, the main girl from Harry Potter.
Well, there's
Emma Watson.
Yes, Emma Watson. No, is it? Yes, Emma Watson. You have Emma Watson, and she's like horribly dubbed over too, which I think is just crazy that they hire people, at least Disney hires people for like more so their looks than if they can actually play a part correctly. Which I think is really weird, because like stuff like Moana, which is all animated, they got The Rock, and The Rock could like decently sing, but then they dub over live action movies.
Well, I hope that's different for The Little Mermaid, because I don't know if you know this. My girlfriend actually told me about this. But Hallie, I think that's her name, that's playing The Little Mermaid. She has a sister, and they were a duo together, and they've released like a bunch of music together. So I know that she can actually sing and she can actually make good music. But yeah, Emma Watson, she looked the part and she played everything else right, but not the singing.
Yeah. Well, maybe The Little Mermaid will get its recognition, but probably not, because everyone's already hating on it. But I think the live action Disney movies are just done with anyways. Like, I don't know why they keep coming out with them. There's no point.
Disney's done with movies. Like, no one wants to see a Disney movie anymore.
Agreed.
I think unironically, like, oh.
No, go.
I interrupted you. No one wants to see Disney movies. They saturated it with Marvel. Avatar was good, but the story was not good. It looked good. Story wasn't good. The live action movies, the only good one's the Jungle Book. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it. The animated movies are done for. I mean, Turning Red, good idea. I just don't think it was well done. I think other people can do a better job.
Yeah.
They're putting out quantity over quality.
Yeah.
And it's killing them.
Yeah. I mean, you can see that with the MCU too, because I was a big hardcore nerd of that. And then like I haven't seen the past 5 or 6 movies just because of the poor quality. But
yeah,
especially because they're reviving like the Netflix Disney shows like Daredevil and crap. And I'm a big Daredevil fan, but I don't think I'll be watching that show just because I know that they're gonna ruin the character for me. And I don't want to experience that. But it's also I mean, you still have movies that are coming out that aren't Disney that are doing really well with the music genre, like all the biopics. Have you heard that there's going to be a Michael Jackson biopic coming out? I think late next year. What's that? Why? Well, I mean, they really haven't done a biopic, but I think they just seen the money that can be made from the past couple biopics that have come out, like Bohemian Rhapsody and the Elton John one. But a big topic is that the guy who's working on it started out making music videos, and he's working with the Michael Jackson Foundation. Do you think it's appropriate for them to dabble in his allegations with little kids? Because that's like a big thing. Because some people are on the side of like, well, it's a Michael Jackson biopic made by the Michael Jackson Foundation. Of course, they're not going to do it. They're going to like keep him like very uplifting story. And then there's some on the other side saying like, but it needs to be told because it's part of his history.
I think it needs to be told because I feel like a lot of people still can't, regardless of what you think of it all, he was found innocent. That's the plain facts. And I feel like if they touch on that, it may bring to light a lot more of what people don't see or don't care to look into. Like I said, regardless of your opinions on it all, yeah, the dude was a little weird, but you shouldn't ignore parts of a movie just to benefit a wider audience. If you're going to talk about a person, you should talk about the person. That's why I'm kind of mixed about Bohemian Rhapsody, but I really respect Rocket Man. Like that was an amazing movie, told very nitty gritty, but it was great. It was one of the best movies that year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one too.
All right,
Sorry.
You can go.
I was a film nerd for a little bit, so like I do know a little bit about my movies, but I'm not a film bro anymore.
I have one more question, then unfortunately I have to leave to go get ready for work. But my question would be talking about movies and like soundtracks and stuff. Personally, I've been playing I'm also a video game nerd. I play a lot of video games.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring.
Ooh, Elden Ring.
Or like Skyrim. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but those soundtracks are like I go into the game thinking, oh, I'm looking for gameplay and this kind of things, and then I'm taken away by these soundtracks, which are full of these magnificent crescendos by these choruses and decrescendos and like the boss themes and music. It's beautiful. So what is one thing that you kind of went into not looking for music really at all, but being surprised by like the kind of influence music had on that certain activity, if you know what I'm trying to say?
Wow, someone took music theory last semester. No. I mean Minecraft. That's
knew he was gonna
both
say
of those soundtracks. Okay, I'll say another one too, but Minecraft, like, it's beautiful. Like how can that music is timeless, not just because of the memories you have, but just because of how good the music is. Another basic one I'm just gonna throw out there: Undertale. Toby Fox knows how to make good, like, simple electronic music, and you could say what you want about the fans of it. The music is great. And then a third game. I feel like any Silent Hill game or Resident Evil games, I don't think you realize it, but that stuff has very much been influenced by ambient music, especially Aphex Twin. I don't know, Truman, are you familiar with Selected Ambient Works 2 by Aphex Twin?
I'm not actually. I can't say, but
So that one is a more traditional ambient album, and it's very eerie, it's very subtle, it's very like off-putting. And when you listen to that and then you play games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil, the music is very much influenced by that album. And it's really amazing just how much you can do with no vocals, no guitars, drums, anything, just a machine, a computer right in front of you.
it
Yeah.
honestly has been a really good conversation with you, Calvin, and I've really appreciated it.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully I'll be back on at some other point, but yeah,
well,
thank you guys
we'll
for
just
having me
have to
on.
see about that,
Oh
buddy.
yeah, well, you guys let John on twice. I mean, why would you let me on? No.
Oh my god.
But thank you, Truman. Thank you for the questions. And
Yeah, it's been a
have
great
fun at work,
conversation.
man.
Yeah, have fun flipping pizzas.
Yeah, making pizzas.
Are you flip pizzas?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's-
that I agree with Calvin's face right there.
Hey,
That's rough.
hey, I get free food, so I guess
Okay.
that's the only
Yeah.
thing. But all right, thank you, Calvin.
Yeah,
It was a
man.
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, of course. I'll see you, Truman.
Yep. See ya.
Always that. I was gonna say it's always that awkward like vibe while he's searching for the leave button.
Yeah.
For spring break, I went to DC with a couple participants. I was in this club, and me and one other site leader had to plan the entire thing. We went to DC to talk about prison reform, and we were with an organization for returning citizens, since like DC is just really screwed with prisoners to begin with. But yeah, no, it was somehow colder than here in Indiana, and it would rain every day, and I'm like, this is not fun. I don't want to live here. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah. It's a peninsula, I think, and it's right next to like the Chesapeake and the Atlantic, so like it rains a lot there, and it's super windy too. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, I mean, you're in Virginia. Something I've always wanted to do, which is kind of weird, is I wasn't a big Fallout nerd, but I liked the Fallout games. Then Fallout 4 came out, and I was like, whatever. And then Fallout 76 came out, and I was like, man, this stuff sucks balls. But it introduced me to cryptics like Mothman, and Mothman's in West Virginia. And as we were coming back, I was like, man, we should really go to the museum there in West Virginia. Fortunately, we didn't. But like, how do you take advantage of like where you live in Virginia? What are things you can do there that you really can't do anywhere else?
Well, I mean DC. I feel like that's a pretty safe choice. I didn't realize how much I'd missed this until I moved away, but seafood is the bomb. Like it is so good. And when you're in a landlocked state where there are no places to go fishing, it sucks. Like because all the seafood's bad and everything.
Yeah.
What else do I like to do? I like to go to a lot of parks. I feel like not a lot of people can really do that, especially in Indiana. It feels like they're very far and few between with all the cornfields and everything. It's a very rural state. Whereas Virginia, at least where I'm from, it's very populated. So there's a lot of stuff to do, but not a lot of unique things to do. If you get what I mean.
No, that's a good point. We don't have anything to do in Indiana.
I don't know if you know this, but Bethesda, it's named after the town where, in Maryland. So Bethesda, its HQ is in Bethesda, Maryland.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
You could have gone there, you big Fallout nerd.
Damn, dude, I just missed out on everything. I just got to see a lot of homeless people on crack. Like that was my thing. I went to the Washington
That's what I
Monument.
get to do.
Saw big penis. Like
Yeah. The best part of DC, so if you ever decide to go back, I highly recommend it. like there's the touristy stuff, like Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, yada yada yada. If you go to like the more music related areas, like the more downtown like areas that aren't super populated, better food, better gigs, better stores, better everything, because that is where the people go. Because if you live in DC, you go to all the big stuff already, so you have to find other things to do. But like go to those like villages, go to the small street vendors and everything, like in the like the back lots of DC, I guess. That's a good way to say it.
No, we had an Airbnb in this like small like section called Tinley Town or whatever, but they had a lot of vendors and there was like a ton of art and like old records and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
What made you decide like to go to Mexico for college? Was it just like best like kind of an opportunity thing and you just wanted to get out west, or?
Well, the short answer is money. The tuition's really cheap here. But my actual answer, my program, so it's emergency medical services. If you look it up on other campuses, it's a 2-year degree that'll get you an associate's. Mine is a 4-year, so I get a bachelor's with it. And I think there's only 4 or 5 other colleges in the country that have this program as a 4-year program, and it's right up my alley. I was getting the most stuff out of it, and it just really fits me. I don't know.
That's pretty cool. What made you want to become a paramedic? Just help people, pretty much? Yeah,
I love helping people, and I've always had like a knack for first aid stuff. The past almost 2 years, I've been a volunteer firefighter too. So I just love giving back to my community and helping out, and they're essential. So you need people to sign up for it, and I'm one of those people that just loves to do it.
That's pretty cool. Have you ever fought a fire?
Yes.
Nice.
I fought. So like actually on the job one, and it was a field one, but it was still like really pretty. I don't know if you've ever seen like a cornfield burn or something like that. But it's like you can't stop looking at it. It looks beautiful almost. And that's how it is with outdoor fires. But when I was at fire school training, we did 3 practicals. And so I guess I can count those, but 1 in the field, 3 in practice.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Kind of tying it back to music. So like, do you ever have like a time where you're like just walking around like in nature or something, and you see something and it just reminds you of a specific song or like lyric or something?
Not really lyrics. I'm not much of a guy that focuses on lyrics. But music, yeah, a lot of my environments, I usually try and categorize with music. Like I have 4 main playlists. It's for winter, fall, spring, and summer. And then sometimes just a certain like thing that I'm doing, I'll think of. Like I have this one album, it's called Mezzanine by Massive Attack. I always play it on foggy days because it's such like a weird and like offsetting album. Whereas there are some that I'd love to walk around on trails, like, I don't know if you think about music that way, but if you really wanted to, you could put an album or a song with any situation.
Going off the last point, I mean, like, dude, movie soundtracks, great. If you I don't know how often you work out or anything, but if you want to feel like an absolute beast, just put the Batman soundtrack on while you work out. Literally insane. Makes you feel invincible, dude.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best soundtracks I've heard. And it's such a shame it didn't get nominated. Or wait, did it get nominated?
I don't think
it got Oscars this year.
I don't think it got nominated for literally anything. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
ridiculous.
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame it didn't win anything either. Like, how did it not win makeup?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, soundtracks are the best. One of my favorite movie soundtracks, it's for Hereditary.
Oh, yeah, dude, I just watched Hereditary too, like a week ago.
It's so good.
It's so unsettling,
good.
dude.
but it's thanks to the soundtrack. Like the guy, his name's Colin Stressen. Beautiful stuff. If you watch a lot of movie trailers, I don't know if you like watching trailers. I know some people don't, but you'll hear him play. Like he has a very signature sound, and he's gotten a bunch of work playing in soundtracks for movies. And I totally check him out. Like if you like following people that do soundtracks, he always makes a good one.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll have homework after this now. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what else he's worked on. The Menu. I mean, I hope you saw that.
Yeah, I watched that too.
New Texas Chainsaw, Hereditary, Color Out of Space. That's another horror movie. But yeah, he's great. I love everything he does.
What are your upcoming plans? Like you said, you have a video in development right now. Is there like anything you want to do when you get bigger that you can't do right now? Or like, is there any way you want to be more interactive with your audience? I know it's kind of harder on TikTok, but do like a bracket basically. Like next year you could do like a March Madness bracket, but for like songs or artists.
Yeah. I interviewed this guy. He was a reporter at Rolling Loud this year, and I would love to do something like that. I'd love to interview people at Rolling Loud or do something along the lines of like how Nardwuar does things. But realistically, I'd love to be more interactive with people like on the street. Like, the people that go up and they say like, do you know 3 songs by this band if they're wearing a band t-shirt? But not in like a rude way, just like, if you have a band t-shirt, let's see if you know 3 songs, or like, what are you listening to right now? I'd love to do stuff like on the fly, on the street. And that's why I like replying to other TikTok videos sometimes. Like I love just randomly popping up here and there around the community.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I might be getting a minor in film production, and I'm like really into films and, the production and how it's all made. Do you ever think that you would make music, even if it was just like a one-off thing, or like help produce something under your name?
I'd love to. I just need a bigger platform so I can gain more of a reputation or more of a resume, I guess you could say. But I'd love to be actually involved in the making of music, whether that's being a manager for someone's music or actually hands-on with music. But I don't make anything right now, even though I'd like to. But yeah, that's a goal I think about sometimes.
Now, with you being a paramedic, how intensive is that? Because you always hear about like doctors and nurses, but you never hear more about like paramedics. What do you think like the job labor for that is going to be?
So, well, I know the hours for some places, like for Albuquerque, you work 48 hours straight, and then you get 4 days off. Basically, what that means when you're working is you are on call. So if someone calls and you get put out to something, you do it. But that doesn't mean you're always doing something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Like, you may go a day without getting a call. Like, just be able to just sleep for 48 hours. But the fact that you are ready always and you are trained to go out and do that, that's what you're getting paid for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
pretty cool.
I can see it being a very stressful job, though.
Yeah, especially in a city, which I don't know if I'd want to work in Albuquerque, but I mean, I'm really anywhere. I could go anywhere in the country if I wanted to.
Oh yeah, that's the great thing about anything in health. But I guess it's also really good because I was gonna ask like how, because when you're doing content, you kind of have to be thinking like, I'm doing this forever for the most part. And so I guess with your answer, it would be you're pretty flexible to make as much content as you would like to. Because the hard thing with like me is I'm doing finance, and so that means a 40-hour work week, unless you do like investment banking, and then it's like an 80-hour work week, which I don't know why people would ever do investment banking. But like it's just ridiculous, especially because you're only getting paid $100,000 starting out, which is a lot. But when you're doubling your overall
But
work
80
time,
hours.
Yeah,
so you're basically making 50,000 with overtime.
Yeah, it's just like you're getting more per year, but it's not really worth it, because of how much work you're putting in. But so that's like a big challenge for us. It's how do we set ourselves up for success in a way that we can still produce content that is A, meaningful, and B, like very accessible to do, which is something that we're working on. Do you see yourself ever doing anything besides music, or maybe more so getting into, I don't know, because you do both reviews and informationals. Do you think that you would ever get more into like editing wise your videos? Because we put up like 1 or 2 gaming videos, and I've learned a little bit about editing, but we get like Adobe stuff for free through our college. Do you guys get that too for free?
I did in high school, and before I started making music stuff, I definitely tried that. I tried doing YouTube videos and other stuff along those lines. And like I said, I was a film bro before, and I took some film classes, and one of them I had to write scripts, film stuff, edit it and everything. And I got really good with Adobe Pro. But it's been so long. I'd be down to add it into my videos, but that just means I have to make more time. I have to put more time into it. And I just don't know if I can do that right now as a college student. So I use TikTok's interface to edit everything I put out. But let's say I did this like when I had my job and everything. Oh yeah, I would totally do that. That sounds like a good idea, like a great plan. But right now it's just not feasible for me.
No,
I don't have a camera. I just have my phone.
Yeah, I mean that's what we do. It's phone and computer. It's very bootstrap,
Yeah. But you get stuff done. You can get a lot done with just a phone and a computer. Like people really don't take it for granted and push it to its limits. Like I don't know, did you hear about that movie that was recorded on the iPhone 7 back when that came out? What it was like Unsane or something like that?
No, I've never heard of that.
You should look it up and watch it. It's not like the best thing in the world, but it's really interesting how they filmed that on an iPhone 7. Like very low budget, very minimalist, but like they made it look like a professional movie.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Push things to the limit.
Yeah, you have movies like 28 Days Later that do the complete opposite, where they have the sort of budget to make a really unique looking movie, and they do it by like filming on these really old time cameras, which I think is really cool too. So it's weird to see big time productions go back to basics.
Yeah, it just brings on a whole new experience, because I think with a lot of basic moviegoers, they're just looking for something unique, something that stands out, and something that appeals to them. And sometimes changing visually how it looks is the way to go.
Yeah, except it's like just a big gamble too, because you get things like what was it, Cloverfield, which had people like literally throwing up in the movie theater because of how motion sickness it was. So there's always that aspect to it.
Those
too.
people are just babies. That movie.
Well, yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, I get that. I don't know. I think there's always a new way to spin things. If you're looking for a way to do things, like there are people I'm inspired by, and I heard this a couple times, but the way new stuff gets introduced is that someone tries to copy another person really shittily. Like copying the Beatles. I forget what group tried doing that and they got really big, or like a lot of bands copied Metallica for metal really shittily and ended up starting new waves of metal. Or you could argue The Weeknd copied Michael Jackson shittily because of his voice. Like, it's stuff like that. You can kind of connect it and make comparisons, and it's really cool. And I think that goes for movies too. Like camera work with Jaws or Spike Lee. You copy it, you do a really shitty job, you create a whole new movie experience for people. Like Requiem for a Dream copies how music videos are edited. I'm not going to say it's done bad because it's done really good.
It's done really well,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, you can copy things and take inspiration, but if you do a really bad job at copying it, you make it your own new thing, if that makes sense.
It's like your own little personal spin, which just happens to be doing it really badly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, makes me miss doing movie stuff.
Oh my God, it's so nice. Okay, 2 last questions before we wrap these thing up because we have been going for a while.
Yeah.
One, you talked about The Weeknd. All right. Now I'm
Mhm.
very polarized with some of his work. I think some of it's nice, but I'm also in the minority where I just hate some of his stuff too. Do you agree though that an article just came out that The Weeknd is the most popular artist in the world? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you think that
I think that's a very solid yes.
do you think that he is more popular than people like Prince or Michael Jackson?
At their height, yes. But if we're talking overall stats, it's really not fair to compare a 40-year career compared to just over 10-year career.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if we're
I guess
talking
that's
like
true.
one single moment in their timeline, The Weeknd dominates, but not collectively.
Yeah. I think that was my only problem with the article was it's like he is the most popular artist in the world, not right now or in the past 40 years. And I think that was my only gripe. Like, because there's, in my opinion, there's definitely like more popular artists, like just the Beatles. Like when you think of someone, someone says the Beatles. But yeah, I would have to agree with you that probably off of one point in time, it probably would be The Weeknd, which, for better or for not, because like,
Do you think it's deserved?
do I think it's
Like, do you
deserved?
think he deserves to be the number one artist of all time?
I personally don't, just because I don't like some of his music, but how passionate he is about it. I mean, you look at like his Super Bowl performance or how he just tries to be experimental and sometimes in a not safe way. I think he doesn't play it safe,
Yeah.
which works for him.
It's a very bold thing to do for an artist with 100 million monthly listeners just on Spotify. Like, to be able to want to take risks and not care about what the label says. Like, you're the label's like baby, you're the cash baby. And the fact that you want to take risks, even though you may lose some of your fan base, that's really bold. And I really respect him for that.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Just his ability to just say, F you guys, I'm gonna continue doing something different than sticking to the same thing, which is really evident with content creators now. You see them doing the exact same thing over and over again and they get solid views. Or even with like movie companies like working off the Marvel formula minus 2 years ago, because now they just suck. What else was I gonna ask you? Oh, you talked about how people come to you now and ask for your critical opinion on their music. You see this a lot with like gaming videos where they'll spend a 30-minute video talking about step by step in a comp game what you could do better or not. Even Anthony
Fantano.
Yes, exactly. He does the same thing. Do you see yourself ever being like here's my review of your thing. If it's okay, can I post it for educational reasons on my TikTok account? And so maybe like more people would also see, oh, maybe my music is kind of the same way. Maybe I could change it up in the same manner. Or do you think it's very like you only want to do it very personal on a one-to-one basis?
I don't want to be known for being another review guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be able to change my content. Like the review I did, that's like the first review I've posted publicly in like over 8 months. I don't really like reviewing stuff to a broader audience because I feel like it can come off disrespectful or even just kind of like dogging on a small artist when I have more followers on my TikTok than they do monthly listeners. Like it seems just a bit inappropriate.
Yeah.
But the thing about Wyatt James was he has 14,000 followers on his TikTok, and he posted his new album, right? But he posted every single day, I'm gonna go until I get an album that's better than my new album, fuck eating on the weekends. And it seemed very narcissistic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to just like, because some people in the comments would be like, I didn't like your album. And he'd say, did you listen to this song? And it seemed very much like ego building almost. So I didn't want to humble the guy, but I wanted to just be like, let's realistically listen to this and review it and just kind of like put it down a definitive thing. And he ended up deleting his original video, which I did not want him to do that. And then he made a video and a lot of his followers are calling me like a hater and everything, where he cut the video out of context. Like he just went straight to my points that I critiqued instead of talking about, hey, I'm going to go give this my fair and honest review and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather review one-on-one with someone. Like I messaged John personally because he sent me a message. I'd rather do it like that than put them on blast in front of 1,500 people at the minimum, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, that's very conscious. Especially like I watched the menu and you brought up, have you watched it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thought it was all right. I think people really think it's good. I thought it was okay, but their commentary on critics, I think you really made a good point about that, because like critics can either sometimes make or break a production, which I think is ridiculous. Yeah. Like how people follow just one person and their reviews on it. So yeah, I think that's really respectable of you to be more so like, I'll take the time out of my day to help these small creators.
Yeah.
But with that, Jacob, do you have anything else to say?
No, not really.
No?
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 13 of the Dawg Podcast. Like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite album that came out this year, and make sure to follow at RunTheDisc on TikTok. That is spelled RunTheDisc.
Yep.
No spaces.
No spaces.
And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Hey, thanks for getting to the end of the video. If you liked it, consider subscribing. If you want to see the curated playlist for this video, click the top picture. And other videos that you might like will be posted in the bottom picture. This has been Just Another College Kid, and I'll see you in the next one.